You might have friends who have gardening as a hobby, and you might have heard them say that it makes them very calm to be amongst the plants. Did you know that is an actual thing? Studies have found that plants, especially the leaves of the plants, have a very soothing effect on the mind. This is because of the green color of the leaf, the way they rustle in the wind, their movement, the texture of these leaves, and some plants have aroma. The leaves have an aroma, right? So that can trigger a very a soothing effect on the mind. The leaf might look like a very simple structure, but in reality, it's a mini masterpiece of nature. So in this video, we are going to cover the structure of a leaf. So, what exactly are the different parts, where it comes from, and so on. Leaf is a flattened structure that is borne on the stem. They come out of the stem in a lateral or horizontal fashion. If you look at the stem, the source of a leaf is the shoot apical meristem. Meristems are stem cells that we find on a plant, and there are different types of these meristems. Some of them give rise to the root, which is called as the root apical meristem, whereas on the shoot, we have the lateral meristem and the shoot apical meristem. The leaf comes from the shoot apical meristem, and they don't rise randomly on the stem. They come out on specific regions we call as the nodes. The leaf bears a bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develops into a branch. If you look at the arrangement of leaves on a stem, you can see that the older leaves are usually seen at the bottom and the younger leaves are usually seen on top. So, this is because when a plant grows or when a tree grows, a branch grows, the new leaves are developed towards the new portion of the branch or the plant, and that usually leaves behind the older leaf. Although this might appear random, this particular type of arrangement has the name. It's called as an acropetal arrangement. Even flowers are seen to have this sort of arrangement sometimes. So now let's look at the different parts of a leaf. We have a stem and there is an axillary bud, and the first part of the leaf is the leaf base. So the leaf base is the part through which the leaf is, attached on the stem, the spot. Around the leaf base, we have two leaf-like structures called as the stipule. We can see that the stipule and axillary bud are almost in the same spot. Axillary bud develops into a branch or a flower. The stipule develops into tendril or spine. These are modified leaf structures. Tendrils are used for support to cling to surface or to another plant, whereas spine is thorn is usually for protection. The leaf base might be slightly different in some plants. In monocots, we notice that the leaf base extends and it forms like a sheet and it becomes part of the stem. It almost wraps around the stem like this and it's called as a sheath. Whereas in a leguminous plant, the leaf base is swollen and here it is called as a pulvinus. The next part of the leaf is the petiole. So, petiole holds the leaf to the light, and these are usually thin, long, and flexible, and they help the leaf to flutter in the wind. If the petiole were a little thick or hard, it might lead to breakage of the leaf, right? So, it helps the leaf to be alive on the plant. When the leaf flutters, it brings a cooling effect and it also brings fresh air onto the surface of the leaf. Did you know but petiole is not an essential structure? Some leaves don't have a petiole and the leaves are directly attached to the stem in this case or the branch. And such leaves are called as sessile leaves. So when leaves don't have a petiole, they are sessile. And the last most important part of the leaf, which is responsible for the survival of the whole plant, is the lamina or the leaf blade. So, this is the flat green part of the leaf. And if you notice on the leaf surface, there are lines, right? You can see a thick line at the center and then smaller lines all around it. Now, these are the veins of the leaf. And the most prominent and biggest vein is called as the midrib. And from the midrib, we can see branches called as veins. And the veins further branch to form veinlets. Veins are very important for the leaf. The first thing they do is they give rigidity to the leaf. Okay, rigidity to the leaf. And the second function is transport. Transport. They ensure that the leaf gets water, food, minerals, etc. These are the three parts of a leaf. Leaves are very different to look at, right? There are different shapes, they have different margins or outlines, their apex might be different, the tips of the leaves, and also the extent of incision of the leaf. So, incision are these cuts that you see. So these cuts, they come from the margin or the outline into the leaf blade. So these are called as incisions. So the degree of these incisions are also different in from one leaf to another, right? And these are all part of the leaf characteristics, and that's what makes them different. In another video, we are going to discuss the different types of leaves based on all these characters.